So we looked for new houses, but every weekend we went to
But
see.
every weekend we went to see. We went to see. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Every weekend we had to go to help Muti and Oscar and Grandpa.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was really hard for
Because she was sick.
me, and she was sick and difficult. And
They probably wanted you to stay
I
there.
would kill myself cleaning the house, trying to at least places where you children were to have them clean. But
And you didn't know them that well either.
I didn't know them at all, but they were very
They were
friendly to
nice,
me.
though.
Yeah, they were friendly to me and nice.
Did they talk about Rolly?
They always talked about Rolly. Where are you going?
Yeah.
And they would say, Muti would say, Rolly was here
She didn't clean much,
before you came.
but she didn't clean up much.
Yeah, and then she would have in the bedroom where we were supposed to sleep. She would show me, this is Rolly's nightgown. She was a little catty, In one way she was pleased to be rid of Rolly. On the other hand, she was a little bit...
What was her relationship with Dad? Well, how were they together?
Muti too and Dad, they both guys loved each other more than Oscar and Dad. But they were always fighting. I mean, she would be trying to tell him what to do, and to control him, and he would be very sort of rebellious.
Did they speak in English or German?
They spoke a mixture of English and German.
What did they talk to each other in?
English, but it was very often German words or German phrases. And they were very kind of, she would say, you think you've made it there, but you didn't. You haven't, you should have become a doctor and you didn't. Actually, you didn't. You should have, when you came back from the war, you were supposed to finish your studies. Your professors wanted you back, and you didn't do it. She wasn't pleased, you see.
Oh, it wasn't enough that he was an engineer?
No, she wanted him to get the master's and the doctor's degree in engineering.
Oh, not in medical?
No.
Oh, a master's in engineering?
He had a master's already from MIT, but it wasn't the final degree. He could have continued another 2 years.
Oh, well, at least she believed in education.
She did believe in education, and she was pretty smart. She was smart, but she was a little bit a coward. I always thought Muti could have gone much further in life if she dared more. She pushed Oscar, and she hid behind Oscar,
Oh.
She needed Oscar to...
How was her English?
I was fluent, very fluent. She had a lot of friends, and she would spend hours on the...
She was a hairdresser.
Talking on the phone to her ladies.
She was a hairstylist. Had a hair salon.
She had a hair salon, and she had her friends, and there would be a lot of wealthy ladies which liked
Were they
her.
German?
No.
No?
No. So, because they liked the way she did their hair, and they would invite them to go on yacht trips and come along and do the hair in
So they did pretty well in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They went horseback riding
They
and
went horseback riding every weekend.
they had a nice
They
house.
went to the beach, invited by Muti's friends, because they had a yacht and they had this and that. And Oscar was a little jealous because Muti would spend hours on the phone, and he would tell to me, she doesn't talk to me at all, and she spends hours on the phone talking to typical friends. And then when Oscar was very upset, he would collect it. He wouldn't say anything, he would be quiet, and then he would go down in the basement, and he would stay plucking doing something in the basement, and she would get worried. Where is Oscar? And then she would go and start calling him and being nice to him till he would come up again. Otherwise, he would stay the whole day in the basement.
Like when he lived with us, he would get offended and
Yeah. With Mutti, he did the same
and
thing.
go in his den and watch TV.
And with Mutti, he went in the basement and he had all kinds of things to do, so, like men.
Yeah.
And, but he was a gentle and sweet man. He was well-mannered.
But why did Dad have a grudge against him?
I don't know, because they were different in character, I think. Very different. And also because, in a way, Dad, although he loved being with his grandparents and was very well treated, and he had good recollection of years in Germany, he still, in a way, resented that he didn't take him earlier. But in the same time, they would send everything they could. He had musical lessons, then they would buy abonnement in a theater, in the opera, so that every Saturday he had to go, the little boy had to go and sit through an opera.
But he didn't have his parents.
And he would, and he was privileged to many things he wouldn't have had if they were
Because they
in
sent
America.
him money.
They sent money, and they sent packages with cowboy clothes and Indian clothes, to dress him up. This kind of, the whole neighborhood would be.
But they only saw him a few times.
But Mutti came back twice, I think. And then Oscar came once or twice too.
And did he ever come here to visit when he was little?
I think Mutti came back after 2 or 3 years.
Did he come here? No.
No, he never came. But they came there, and Oscar came and had the car and drove all over Germany, which at that time was unusual. He had a fog. And then they would disappear again,
Right.
Yeah, they did well in America in their way. Oscar worked hard and had some inventions he had with the diesel engines. They used his inventions and paid for his